We got new Fox News polls out showing a 10-point deficit for Donald Trump. But take a look at this. When it comes to one of the most important issues of the election, more people trust Donald Trump on the economy. Former Harry Reid aide Jim Manley, conservative commentator Kirsten Haglund, and National Review's Eliana Johnson. Kirsten, I just want to ask, everyone's saying this, but again, the notion that if Donald Trump were to have a laser-like focus on the economy over and over again, could that help him sort of reclaim some of this lost traction that we've seen?
Absolutely. The economy is his biggest strength. And even though Obama and Hillary and everyone spent the entire Democratic National Convention touting how great America is doing, middle America doesn't feel that way. That is why they're so angry, and they feel like Washington is so completely out of touch. So if he were able to really continue to drill down in the economy, as well as the GDP growth is anemic in this country, the jobs numbers that have continually been released have not really shown the growth they need. If he were to continue to hammer on that, he could, but expecting Donald Trump to change is kind of like expecting to hit your head against the wall and, like, pretend like the wall not to be there anymore. Right. It's we don't have any evidence that he is really going to change. So no, I guess we'll see.
But Eliana, the thing is that we had 1.2% growth in the most recent quarter. Job creation under 200,000 jobs per month. That's really not a lot in the grand scheme of things, considering how large our population is. And nevertheless, Hillary Clinton is actually trying to run as the economy candidate.
Hillary Clinton's an incredibly weak candidate. Donald Trump is more trusted on the economy. He's more trusted on national security. Unfortunately, Charles, you mentioned the latest poll shows Trump down 10 points. Kirsten used a couple of words, drill down and hammer, and we've seen no ability from Trump to focus in on Hillary Clinton's weaknesses. And I think what we're starting to realize is that Republicans keep asking, will Trump get back on message? For Trump, on message is actually off message. He's an off message candidate, and he has no ability to focus in, hammer in, drill down, whatever you want to say, on Hillary Clinton's weaknesses, and it's proving incredibly damaging. The evidence is in your poll.
Jim, obviously Hillary Clinton's got to be loving all of this, but it's still early. There's still almost 100 days left, and she can definitely misplay her hand as well.
Oh, no doubt about it. There's a long time between now and November 8th. But the fact of the matter is, if you look at the totality of the polls, including the Fox polls out today and two other national polls this week, polls out today in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and New Hampshire, and they got to feel pretty good about things. But, the fact of the matter is, based on this point in time, to reiterate what the others have said, I mean, Trump shows no ability and or discipline to try and seize on any missteps, and he keeps on stepping in it further and further.
And the good news for Hillary is that, well, maybe the bad news, good news, is that there have been so many missteps on her part. I mean, just going into the weekend, I thought that email breach would be the biggest news, her campaign email breach. Then I thought the Chris Wallace interview would be the biggest news on Monday morning. So again, she has been dodging bullets, and you got to wonder how long her luck will hold out, Kirsten. I mean, again, I know it all gets back to Donald Trump and whether or not he stays on the old school message or gets on the old school message.
Right. Well, it's just so unbelievable that you have two candidates who are so disliked by the American people, so not trusted, and this should be a slam dunk for both of them, frankly, if the other weren't running. That's the point that we've come to in this election. But if Donald Trump were to not only focus on the economy, but continue to highlight these perceived flaws among Hillary, her campaign, the dishonesty, all that, he's got to shift that message toward her. That's what you do. That's how you run a campaign. That's how a presidential election is won. And even though his fundraising numbers came out recently that yes, $80 million was raised, he's got to use that to turn out voters, and he's got to convince evangelicals and conservatives. And if he's not able to rally the base, I don't know where we're going in November.
He's been slipping a little bit on those conservatives, which is critical.